And now we are going to discuss about of the same tool which we have discussed in the previously as called as an ABAP dictionary. But in the previous session which we have discussed about of the dictionary, that dictionary will be the something different whatever we are discussing on today. So what will be the difference in between of the previous which we have discussed about of the dictionary and whatever today which we have discussed about of the dictionary? In the sense of the both can have a lot of the difference in between of the previous one and today's class. So in the previous class, as per the client's requirements, which we have created one database table. But what I am asking that now I need to create a multiple of the database tables. Instead of using with the one database table, I want to create the multiple of the database tables, and also even I want to make a relation in between of those of the two database tables. So for that, first of all, we need to know about of the what is the data element and domain. So what is the data element? So dictionary, which we can say that it is a DML and DDL. So now we are going to the DDL, data definition language. And the data definition language, if I am going to create first of all the data element. So what exactly by the data element, or else what exactly by the domain? So first of all, let's have a discussion about of the domain. See, what is a domain in the sense of it is a separate data which we can use for creation of a database table. Or else we can simply call this as a duplicate of the data type. So as which were discussed in the previous class, the data types are the something whatever the data types are the char, int, numc, and tats, and as well as TMS. Like here, what we are doing that instead of those of the things, we are going to create our own data types, which is calling as a data domain. So what exactly by data domain in the sense of it is nothing but like a duplication of a data type, the duplicate value of the data type, which we are calling this as a domain. So first of all, let me create the domain by using the same procedure of SE11. By using the SE11, I am entering onto the data dictionary. So first of all, what I am going to create is here it is in a domain. I am going to create here is in a domain. In the domain, what do you want? So I am creating one domain name here as like as a name Z character Z-cat. I want to create one domain that should be the name of the Z-cat and create it. Sorry, it was a name Z-cat. I want to create the Z-cat and create it. And what it is? It says here Z-cat already exists. Choose a different name. It was already there. That's why you're asking about another one. Z name create. It was also there. White cat create. See, I have taken that one of the domain I am in required with the name of white cat. So what it is? So which I am saying that it is a name character type. Character type. And even in this character type, which we said that data domain is nothing but like a duplication of the data type. So in the duplicate value we have taken as an ycat. So what is the data type which you want to take for the ycat? So I want to take as a name cat. This is the predefined one, and this should be the max of 10. Activate it. Select the local object. Select the local object, and then press enter. Automatically my domain has been created, and come back, and I'm taking one more ZNUM. Z number, create it, what it is. I'm taking here as a numerical value, and what it was in the sense of I'm creating here as an NUNC, and it should be the maximum of 10 digit length. Activate it in the local object and save it and come back. Now clear for me. I am having one character type and even one numbers type. Now what I have to do that by using this domain, I need to create in a multiple of the data elements. So can you see here what exactly by the domain? See, while creating a table in data dictionary, each table field has been assigned with a data element, and each data element is turned on again assigned to a domain. So in the reverse part, let me take an example here. So when creation of a data element, it was assigned with the domain, and each and every domain will be assigned with the data type. So nothing but like a duplication of a data type is called as a domain, and using by the domain we can create a multiple of the data elements. Now what we're going to create is, I want to create the domain first. See here, for making of the creation of the domain, select the name and get name and create it, and after that like this the domain has been created. And after creation of this domain, which we said that by using that domain we can create a multiple of the data elements. First of all I have created the domain, and the next I am going to the here the data type. So what do you want? So which I am saying here, Z char create, it was there already, your Z name create, let's take it as a Y name create. And what do you want to create now? I want to create a data element and press enter. So what it was, the data element you are going to create. So I am going to create the data element with the name of patient identification code. Patient identification code, and this patient identification code has to be comes with the domain of Y number. Let's just press enter. See, we have created one domain, and that domain has been came with the duplicate of the data type, and using with this data type where I have created one something. So here instead of this one Y name, I think so, which we have created as a name for the character /4 SC11. Here we have created another thing for the numbers Y cat. It was a name Y cat. See, this is a name Y name. Activate it. Instead of the patient identification code, and you are giving the patient identification name. It is for the name. Activate it and save it and come back. As like as I need one more. Why new create? It was also data element. Enter what it was in the sense of patient identification code. Patient identification code, and what will be the domain for this one is Y number. It is a numerical value. Activate it and save it and come back. Now I am ready with one of the patient ID and another one is a patient name of the character. Now Yeah,
Question, Vijay.
sure, Judge. You can.
My question is, why what you are creating now? Why are we creating this?
That's what I am also waiting for that question. Why? Because I am thinking about that question from your side. So you can ask that already we are having the data type of the car and everything is there. Huh? Then why should we have to duplicate of the data type into the data element? Is it right? So
Yes.
I am also waiting for that question from your side. So, for example, here I am creating now two database tables. Let's have an example of this one. I am creating two database tables, and the first database table which I am taking here as a name, patient, and the second database table which I am taking as a name, pharmacy, and the third database table which I am taking as a name, lab reports. And these are the three different types of the database tables. And what I'm going to say that in this three different types of the database tables, we are having one common field, which we said that primary key, for the purpose of to make the integration or to make the relation in between of the each and every database table, we need in a one key or a one field. So here I am using the patient ID, and even which I am saying that the same patient ID I am having here also, and even the same patient ID I am having here also, the three ways. And this is the one client requirement, say for example. And here we have given the patient ID as in the SAP predefined, not from the data element. So which we can call it as an NUNC. And for here also NUNC. For here also NUNC. As like as here also which we are giving as an NUNC. That's it, not a problem at all. All these three fields can be automatically making the relation. But what I am saying here is, what I'm going to say here is, as like as the same thing and the same hospital, I am having another database table. That means another database table. So here also I am having one is the doctor and other is doctor. One is the doctor table and another one is the doctor pay. Otherwise pay. History. So here also I want to maintain the relation. And even for this database tables also, I want to make the relation. So in this situation, what I'm doing that here also I have taken the DOC ID, and here also I have taken the DOC ID. And even I want to make this doctor ID also as a numerical. And here also I want to make the doctor ID also numerical. And as like that, I'm having the supervisors. Supervisor and as well as supervisor pay. Here also I am taking that supervisor ID, that will be the NUMC, and supervisor ID here also. So here also I am taking as a name NUMC. So is it clear or any confusion? Mr. George, up to here? Up to here it was clear, no? Now, what I want, yeah, hello?
Yeah, yeah, sir. Voice is too breaking. It's not audible.
Just a second. I will increase the volume.
Yeah, and it's little bit bouncing. It's
Well,
not clear now.
okay, just a second, just a second. Yeah, just a minute. You just check it out now, Mr. Ratul. Is it somehow
Yeah,
like
it's now clear.
now it was clear now? That's great, that's great, that's great.
Yeah,
Yeah, Mr. George, is it clear now for yours?
Yes, it's clear.
So whatever I have explained, is it clear for yours? I'm having a multiple of the database tables, and what I'm going to say is this is the one part of the database table. This is the one part, right? And even for the same procedure, I have created this is the one part. and with the same thing, this is the another part. So what will be the problem of here is that all these database tables has to be connects with the key with a primary key and foreign key relation. But what was happening here is, here also we have used the numerical, and here also you have used the numerical, and here also you have the numerical. That means, do you want to make the relation in between of these three, or else any other way? That means, in this situation, if I can use the primary key and key relations, maybe it will be like this also, or else maybe it will be like this also, or else maybe it can be like this also, like this also. But we don't want this one. What we want to make the relation is, we want to make the relation in the way of this one. That means, how we want to make the relation in between of the each and every table is like this, and even after completion of this one, we want like this. Is it right or not? But what will be happens is, instead of we have taken the separate one for each and every database table, if we can club each and everything with the same data type, what will be happens is, all the things has to be maintained into the common for each and every database table. That's why what we are doing here is, we are just duplicating of that data type into the data domain, and as well as with the data element. Is it clear, Mr. George, now? You can understand?
Yes. Yes.
So instead of reusing by the SAP predefined, why? Because if you can use the SAP predefined, the system, the ABAP engine cannot recognize as that the field. Why? Because there should be the same thing for a multiple of the database tables. We can't make an understand for that the system. That means the ABAP engine cannot understand that what is the things will be happening. That's why what we are going to do that. First of all, we have created the domain. So what is a domain? So what is a domain in the sense of, domain is a duplicate of the data type. Duplicate of the data type. And even you can ask that, even this can be also multiple times we can use. Yes, we can use the multiple times. That's why what we are doing that, again, one domain can be converted as a multiple of the data elements. That means the domain is a globalized. It was in a global for the ABAP runtime, ABAP engine, and data element is a global for not for the ABAP engine, as this is the common for ABAP table. That means by the table wise, which we can have a common of data element, and by the total ABAP engine wise, we are having the common one is in a domain, and throughout total the SAP server and SAP engine, the total SAP engine is common by through the data type. That's why what we are doing that, first of all, we are changing, we are copying the data type into the domain, and even using by this domain, we are creating the multiple of the data elements. Is it clear now, Mr.
All
Judge?
right.
Right.
Yes.
Shall I continue the session? Done. See you. See you. That's why I'm going to create your one database table, and the database table which I'm selecting here. So what do you want the table? So I'm taking here the table name. So have you created the data elements or not? Let us check it out. Change. So one is which we taken as a patient identification name, and another one which are taken as a patient number. Done. Two of the data elements will be there. Now I am going to the database table. So what is the database table you want to create now? So I want to create the table name here. It is a YTAB1, and then create it. What is the table name? So which I am taking as a patient entry details. Done. Here, what is the delivery class? As in the previous class which we have discussed, the same thing. So here I am saying that it's an application table, either it is in a master and the transaction, and even the data browser. What would be the data browser you want to allow it in the sense of, I want to allow the display maintenance has to be allowed. The display maintenance should be allowed, and after that go for the fields. But here what you have to do that, don't go for the predefined type. Why? Because we are using the our user defined. That means ourselves, not the predefined one. That's why here I'm taking as an PID, and I want to make it as a primary key and even the initialize. And what is the data element you want? So I want to use the data element for the patient ID is in a number. For that we have created that YNUM. See, automatically that will becomes the YNUM is a data element, and the data element has been came with the domain of this own, so and the domain has been copied from the data type of the NUMC. It is a patient identification code. And after that you want to make it as a predefined type also, you can, not a problem at all. And the next one I am taking is a patient name, and I want to make it as a character. So how much of the length? 30. And what it is? So which I am saying that patient name. And even the next one, which I'm taking as a join underscore date. So what it was? DATS. And which I'm saying here is a joining date. And even with the second one, join underscore time. So what it was? TIMS. And which I'm saying that joining time. Done. This is the first table which I am going to create. And
So, sorry, Vijay.
yeah, sure.
Look at the data elements column, which you said why norm.
Yes.
So why norm was the one you created in the domain, right?
And the domain and the data element, both of the things I have taken as an adjoiner.
Okay. Okay.
Even if we can take the both of the different also, but instead of getting the confusion, I have created both of the same.
Okay.
Okay. Here we don't want to create, we don't want to give the domain name. Here we want to give the data element. Is it?
Okay.
And this is the first table in the technical settings. Yes. 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 And what would be the data class? I want to go for the APPL0 and the size category something service, come back and activate. Right. One table was created was the first table as which we had discussed in the previous. What is that table in the sense of which I have created that patient entry. See here what I have created that. This is the table which I have created, the first one. And even for the first table of the database, which I have maintained the data element which I have given as a PID, and that PID has to be comes with the data element of Y and UM. Even but in the same situation, I am going to create another one that is called as a building details, pharmacy and the lab. Let's have a look of another database table, SC11, and I'm going to create another one which I'm making as a white tab 2, create here. And what would be the short description here? So I am going to create a short description here as a name, patient pharmacy and patient pharmacy and lab amounts. And here the delivery class which I am giving here as an application table, and it should be the display maintenance hello, and even the fields here there should be something will be there. Please careful here. Whatever in the previous table which you have created is PID, and that PID should be the equal to here, and make it this one also the primary key name. See? And what would be the data element? Here what is the element which I use? ZNUM. Here also use the same of ZYNUM. Done. And after that, I don't want any fields, even if we can take the predefined one. So I am saying that here it is a name. What is the scan amount? Which I am taking that NVMC, and it was a scanning amount. And Even I want to take that one more, scanning with X-ray, X-ray, and there should be also the, so, and there should be also the NVMs, and here also I'm giving that 5 digits, and which I'm saying that X-ray amount, and which I'm saying that X-ray, and even I want to say that medicine, medicine, that should be also the medicine, and here medicine, and let's go for the technical settings. Yes, yes, local object, local object, yes, and the data class and the size category. Done. Now let's have a look what I'm doing in between of these two database tables. What I'm going to do in these two database tables. See, in the both of the database tables I'm not having any records. Is it right? So first of all I am going to and before of maintaining of the records in those of the both of the database tables, in those both of the database tables, what I am going to create here is I want to make a relation and between of these database tables. But how it is possible? That was the main. So how it was possible in the sense of, see, I am in the table 2. I am selecting this field. So this is the field which we can call it as a primary key. See, you can see in the notes. So how to create the data element and the domain, and after that how to create an SAP table. We know that how to create a SAP table as which we have created in the previous. And now what would be the primary key and foreign key. So I think so previously also the person Mr. Rakul has been asked, okay, Mr. Vijay, I want to know exactly what about the primary key and the foreign key, and why should we can call it as a primary key and second key, what it was exactly. Let's have a look. In the day I have said that, okay, Mr. Ratul, just now we have created one sample. In the next class we will make it exactly, then we can identify that one. See here also, a primary key is a field, group of fields that uniquely identify a record in a table. That means in a multiple of the database tables, all the fields and all the records uniquely identified but this primary. And primary key fields cannot be null and cannot be anytime duplicate. That means these of the fields cannot be the zeros. That means empty values, and even it can't accept the something what it is null values, sorry, duplicate of the values. That means if we can give that once for the one as an a patient ID of the 10, you can't able to give the patient ID for another one. Like that it can't be null, and even it can't be the something duplicate. See here, if you can see the first table, department of the primary key and employee ID and employee ID. So what I'm doing that here the department is 01 and here it was in a zim, and when I'm clubbing of the both of the tables, how the report has to be comes from the employee ID of 001 from this table, and the employee name of Zim from this table, and employee name place of New York from this table, and this person has been related with the department key of 01. That means 01 in the computers. As like that, a multiple of the database tables can be clubbed in together in a report, and the integration with this primary key and foreign key. In the first database table, it was here. It is called as a primary key. And the secondary database table, which we can call as a primary key or a secondary key. And in between of these two tables, the relation which we are making, that relation which we are making is called as a foreign key relation. See here, if you want to link the department table and employee table as like a patient table and his pharmaceuticals as like that department and employee, then add the primary key of the department table for department ID and employee table of department ID. Here also the department ID will be there, and here also the employee ID will be there. Department. And department ID becomes the foreign key. This is the foreign key, the table 1. And of the employee table of the department table will be there now. Here it should be becomes as an employee table of the department table becomes as a check table, and employee table after creating the foreign key. That means we have maintained the relation in between of the both of the database table by using the foreign key. The relation in between of the multiple of the database tables can be happened by through the relation of primary key, and the relation which we are calling here is a foreign. That's what we have to identify. And now,
Hello?
yeah, tell me.
I understand the logic you're talking about. If you go back again to department table and employee table,
Yes, that's what I'm
why
going to.
not why
Why?
not why not make why not make the employee table to be the foreign key?
Yeah, you can make that either from this way to that way or that way to this way. See, what will be happens is, see here in this situation, you are asking that, Mr. George, why should we have to create first department table and then employee table? That's what you're asking, no? Even you can create
You
that.
have hello?
Yeah, tell me.
Sorry. I said I understand your logic, but I just want to ask this question. I
Yeah,
understand what you are talking
yeah,
about.
I can understand.
We
I can
have
understand. I'm explaining that one. I'm explaining that logic. You know the logic what I'm doing, but you are asking that why should not we have to go for this to here and why don't we go for that to this? That's what
I
you are
said
asking.
Yes,
why
yes, exactly.
why don't you make the employee table to be the foreign key and make the department table like that?
That's what. Either you can make it from here to there or there to here, whatever. But if you can done this to this, that means department to employee or employee. Sorry, now we have made the employee to department. You have made the employee to department in the sense of, first of all, the data has to be filled in the employee ID. Then only the data will be accepted for the department.
Okay, okay, I get you.
Even if you have created the first department, the foreign key of department, then what will happen is you need to first fill the department, then only you can create the data into the employee. That is the difference in between of this.
All right, I got you.
Got it? No? For example, as per our choice, if you can say that, for example, in the financials, I will let you the one example. Uh, Customer to order, for example, the customer database table is in a KNA1, and the sales order database table is in a VBAK. And what we are going to do that, we are making the relation of customer number from the database table of the order and customer. That means what will happen is, first we need to enter the data in the customer, then only we can enter the data into the order. That will be. Even instead of that, you can make it as an opposite. First of all, you need to enter the details into the order. After that, we need to create the customer. But instead of the customer, we can't get the order, no? Like that it is. Is it clear, Mr. George?
Yes, it's clear. Yes.
Shall I continue? That's great.
Yes, I'm fine. Thank you.
See. So what I'm saying that I am into the white tab 2. So whatever I want to make as a relation from the second table, I have selected the field. This one. and I have selected that one. And what I want to go that, I want to make this field as a foreign key of the first table. That's why I'm clicking on this one. See this button? Foreign key. Even if you can check with my notes also, it will be has been clearly mentioned. See, creation of a foreign key in SAP table. The purpose of the foreign key is to validate the data that has been being entered in a table by checking the entries in a check table. Foreign keys are checked by the front-end user interface only, and it is not checked if issue of the SQL statement to the update of the database. Follow the steps given below to create an SAP database table. And here, see, this is a Z employee, and the second one is the Z department. So first of all, what I'm doing that from here, I have selected the PID, the like as a ZID, and I'm clicking on this button, which is this one, which we can call as a foreign. So when I'm clicking on the foreign key, it asking that, okay, boss, you have selected that key has to be maintained the relation of the foreign key with another database table. And what was the database table? So, which we have created that database table as an Y tab 1. Is it right? And generate the proposal. See, it has been mentioned. The Y tab 1, that means the Y table of the one of the patient ID getting the relation with Y table 2 of the patient ID. Is it clear, Mr. Josh?
Yes, I can hear you.
See, so we have maintained this button by using the foreign key relation. So after getting the foreign key relation, just make it as a copy. That's enough. You don't need to do anything. See, copy it. See, foreign key by tab to patient ID was transferred. Just make it the same. Done. Clear. Now close this one. And I'm closing this one also. Activate it. Yes, not a problem at all. Come back, save it, and come back. Now, I want to enter the data. Let's have a look. In the first session, I'm having only one session here. In the first session, I'm opening the SC11, and I want to enter the data in the tape 1, change. How to enter on the data in the sense of from the utilities and the table contents, and then create entries. I'm adding the records to the database table. And what it is asking that it's asking to add the patient ID. So I'm giving here as the patient ID of the 123 and the patient name of ABCD and the joining date of the something of the 26th of the December and the joining time of something around. And shall I make it the same? It was accepted now. It was accepted. Even instead of this, I want to get the data into the tab 2. See what will be happening. Table contents, create entries. If I can given here as a 123, which I have created there, the patient ID of 123. That's great. And the scanning amount of 2,500 bucks. And the X-ray amount is something around 2,100 bucks. And the medicine cost will be the 3,000 bucks. And just I can save it, accept it. But see the small thing which I am maintaining here. In the second table, I am entering the 124. And the scan amount is 14,050 bucks. And the X-ray amount is 12,034 bucks. Or something, and the medicine is 15,055 bucks. And save it. Database record was successful. Then you can enter there also. So that means if you can maintain the relation in between of that one. So instead of entering the one database table, the second database table can't handling the data. That is the main problem. See here, if you can see here, I am entering the patient ID of the 003. What has happened is James, New York 8055. Try to create an entry in the Z employee table with the department ID that is not there in the department table. That means if the department table is not having the field, if I am trying to enter that, the values and try to save it in, the system will display that the department will not having that field record. So this is the main purpose of this database table, and as well as the domains, and as well as the data dictionary. Is it clear, Mr. George and Mr. Abdul?
Yes, yes, it's clear.
Yes, sir.
Done. And let me have some examples of the database tables. I will let you show that. So you can ask them. Okay, Mr. Vijay, you are saying that is that the database tables, all the database tables has been constructed as like this. And shall I know that is that SAP predefined database table? As an I am an FA consultant, and I want to see that is that records which is there, is there already having the link in between of the multiple database tables? I want to, can I see the link? Yes, we can. See, for example, the first database table here, which I am using the database table name of KNA1. So what is the KNA1 in the sense of the database table of the KNA1, which represents the customer master, Let's have a look of SC11, and what it was is KNA1, and I'm going to display this, not the change, not the create, display. See what will happen is, what is the field which is having as a primary, that will be shown here. And even in the same situation, I am opening another database table. So first let us open this database table. See what is the field here which we are using here? KUNNR. What is the KUNNR in the sense of customer number? Is it clear now? And as like that, I am opening another table with the name of VBAK. VBAK. Sorry, SC11. And in this SC11, I am going to create, I am going to open another table of VBAK and display. Let's have a look of what is the VBAK. See, here also I am having the same field of KUNNR in the relation of this one. That means it will be something there in the down or something somewhere in inside. As like that, if you can see here, what it was is VBELN. As like that, if we can open the SC11 with VBAP, VBAP. See? That VBELN. That means the order sales document number of VBAP and the sales document number of order having the relation, and this document, the table of VBAK and the table of KNA1 having the relation of KUNR. So like this, it's having the relation in between of the multiple of the database tables. Even one database table can have the multiple of the primary keys also. But in generally, the SAP predefined database tables in ideas, they must have the MA entity is in a common field for each and every database table. So what is exactly by the MA entity is in a, it was in a client number. So by using the client number, it can have the multiple of the clients. Sorry, by the client number wise also we can get the data into the database table. That's why the client number is also the common for every database table. So as like that, we can have a multiple of the database table which has been already constructed with the data elements, and each and every data element has been maintaining that the primary key and as well as the relation of the foreign key. So this is what we can call as a database tables and even a data dictionary. Is it clear, Mister? Everyone?
Okay. In everything, hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Everything I understand what you are saying.
So,
The only question I'm having is, can you go to SE11 again?
sure,
Let me
sure. I will go for the SC
say
level one. Hello.
SE11. Yes. Enter. Enter.
Enter. Okay.
Okay. Now go to domain.
Okay.
Domain.
Okay.
That that is where I have just one question. In everything you've been doing, I understand. I just want to ask
Yeah, sure, sure. You can
this
take it.
this domain. Can you type in? Can you press F4?
F4. Radio button.
Yes.
Yes.
The one I want to see the domain you created.
Whatever I have created. See.
The one you created.
So I have created in a SAP IDS, whatever I'm using in the IDS, and this my IDS, I'm having all these domains will be there already.
Okay.
Even I can see.
So
Even if you don't have any problem with us, just
yes.
give that YNUM, whatever you have created, or if you're having any doubt. So you just give it and again try to create it because it won't. Why? Because it was already created.
So everything, so all the domain that you created will be typed in data type. Am I
Yeah.
correct?
Yes, the domain is a duplicate of the data type, and using by the data type, we can create a multiple of the data elements. Why?
Okay.
Because data domain is a globalized for total SAP ABAP engine, and data element is
Yes.
globalized for the database tables. That means
Okay. Now,
now you can understand.
thank you. Yes. Now you answer my question. Thank you very much.
That's great. That's great. That's great. Yeah, Atul, from your side, is there any question in this?
Yeah, yeah. No, no, it's clear, quite clear.
It was quite clear. That's great. So this is
Yeah.
the first tool which we have used in these two sessions. And in the next session, what I'm doing that by using this database table, whatever we are created in this one, even you can ask that, okay, Mr. Vijay, which you are saying that like this we can create the database tables as per the client's requirement. This is okay for me. But if you are whatever the data which you have entered in the database table, and if I want to get the records into the output, what I have to do? Otherwise, if it is in the master data, not a problem at all. And the transaction data, if I am having the one more field which in another table, which is called as a total, means in the total I want to make the values of the scan amount and EMR amount and ECG amount. Then what I have to do? For that, what we have to do that we need to collect these of the records and fields into one ABAP editor. Under that ABAP editor, we can make the logic for that one by using the ABAP program. So that's why in the next tutorial we have to go for the ABAP editor. Under that ABAP editor, what we have to do and what is the different types of the logics we are having, and even how it will be coming. That's one. If you're clear, even upon this one, I will continue for this ABAP editor, which I said that ABAP is completely with the tools based. Now just we have completed one tool of the ABAP editor, ABAP dictionary. And the next we have to go for the ABAP editor. Is it clear for your people now? I think so.
Yes.
Vijay,
Yes.
Vijay, if you really want to help us, why don't you have SAP access so we can be doing our own practice?
For
You'll
your
be
for
giving us
your for
everything
your
you teach,
for your practice.
assignment. Yes, for practicing. Yes.
So Mr. Atul, do you have that access for that? For having?
No, I don't have, sir. I'm having ideas which is installed,
Hmm.
just which is offline.
Okay.
Actually, I will check that whether it is working for SC11 or no.
Okay, you just check it out. If you're not having that
Yeah.
one, If you're not having that one,
yeah,
just give me the text or Skype
yeah,
or whatever, and I will
yeah.
make it a online access of the rent for this. Okay, why?
Okay.
Because this is the these are the some persons which is giving the rent of the IDS for some of the months.
Yeah,
So as like that
yeah,
per month they are charging the minimum amounts, not the more than. It was very very less for the ourselves.
yeah.
Okay, I will know that exactly, and even if you can run anytime by the 24 hours, you can get that access freely. Not a problem at all.
Yeah,
Okay, so let us confirm with something. Atul, I will give the confirmation for yours.
yeah,
And Mr. George,
yeah.
I will let you know that how much it will be getting for this, and I will give the try for that, and I will get it you back with the Skype. I will discuss with the client which is providing the IDEs for the online session, and we can work it on this one. Not a problem
All right.
at all.
All
Okay,
right.
I will get you back in within the 15 to 20 minutes for that. What is the price for that? So and so, so and so, so and so. Is it clear?
Okay.
Okay then.
Okay.
Right, mister? Again, we will meet again on tomorrow at the same time for making of an ABAP editor.
All
Sir,
right.
will you share today's and yesterday's video so we can look and go through it?
In the previous day, whatever we have done, that has been not recorded actually. I didn't see this one,
Okay.
but today's itself it has been recorded. Even this session is being recorded. You can see my screen; it will be showing that. So now I'm going to make it as an